Welcome to FCTV podcast. I'm here with Jason Thune, Hawaiian Telcom Vice President. He has spent more than 25 years helping expand broadband access across Hawaii. Starting as a summer intern at Hawaiian Telcom, Jason went on to lead fiber strategy and deployment efforts that secured nearly $100 million to bring fiber broadband to rural communities across the islands. Jason, welcome to the podcast, and I'm really excited to hear all about Hawaiian Telcom. Let's start out with, is it true you guys are going to be like the first state to be fully fiber?
We are. I'm
Okay.
counting down the months. It's a little stressful, but we're on target to be done by December.
That's awesome. So you guys made sort of a big, bold bet on fiber early, right? You went with fiber for your broadband deployment and just sort of skipped over copper entirely. Tell me a little bit about that.
Yeah, in 2011, we started rolling out VDSL-based TV and internet service. And our copper plan is extremely old. And we decided to make a change in 2013 that said, we're making this huge investment. Let's just future-proof it. And we actually got quite a bit of pushback from our marketing team and our product team because they're like, well, now it's a truck roll to the person's house. And our argument was, well, we can upgrade them automatically and not do any more truck rolls. And here we are 13 years later, and it was the right decision to make.
Yeah. And you made another unusual decision, which was to go to like the most remote rural areas of the state before like hitting the big cities. Talk a little bit about that decision. Why'd you do that?
Yeah, it sounds so counterintuitive. So just to give some background, Hawaii is 6 major islands, and there are 2 islands which are extremely rural. The island of Molokai and the island of Lanai. There's respectively about 3,500 and 2,000 people who live there. The boat comes twice a week with supplies. It's not like the line truck is there for us to use, but they are also the most underrepresented and broadband starved locations. And it's the most expensive. So what we decided is, if we can get broadband there, that just shows our commitment to the community and to the state. And internally to our employees, if we can do the hardest ones first, then everything else should technically be easier, right?
Yeah.
So that was our strategy. It turned out to be the right strategy.
Yeah, and how do you know it was the right strategy? I mean, what's the feedback been from people in the community?
So when we make the big, bold statement that we did, no one is saying, well, that's a bunch of malarkey, right? They're like, wow, that's pretty good because for the most part, any new technologies or things that come in, Oahu, where Honolulu is based, always gets it first. And we flipped the script on that. Our penetration rates are actually the highest on those 2 islands.
Oh, wow. Okay,
Yeah.
That's cool. So also, I mean, Hawaii has a lot of, Native Hawaiians. And how has broadband sort of helped those communities, I guess, like, keep their culture going? You know what I'm saying? Like,
Yeah.
was there a particular focus on and making sure that like those indigenous communities were connected?
Yeah, it was actually a focus for us. There's a long story. People can do some online research on it. There was this company called Sandwich Isles Communications, and they were the exclusive broadband and voice provider for the Native Hawaiians. It's called Department of Hawaiian Homelands. There's beneficiaries. They live there. And the CEO, he did some tax evasion and whatnot. And ultimately, the people who live in those communities, they're essentially broadband starved. So we came in and partnered with the Department of Hawaiian Homelands and went from almost 0% fiber penetration in 2022 to 99% in less than 3 years. So actually, the Native Hawaiians and the lands that they're on, they're pretty much, we finished building to all except one community who they want to stay off grid, which is okay.
Okay.
So the natives actually got their broadband service before most of the general population did.
Oh, wow. So how has that affected their communities?
It's great. There's one ag community that we went to that were using Wi-Fi pucks for their service, and they saw us working in their area for 3 months, and they asked, what are we doing? We explained it to them, and they were so excited. They call in and ask, okay, when are you going to be done? Because we want to sign up. So there's a lot of respect that shows that we're committed to the community out there, and now they can have connectivity. It's awesome.
Yeah, that is awesome. So this is had to have been a really expensive project. Still is expensive, right? So talk a little bit about some of the creative ways you guys found to fund it. I mean, I'd imagine some of it's federal money, state money, but like, what are some other ways that you were able to like pull the money together?
So fortunately, we're owned by an infrastructure fund, so we're not publicly traded, which means we could spend a lot of money, capital money to do our deployment. Less than 10% of our CapEx or our funds coming in was from the federal government or government grants, which is actually a pretty small percentage.
Yeah, it sounds like it.
The scale that we actually use is just spending a lot of time up front on the planning and design side to utilize our existing infrastructure as much as possible, so we're not running into as much high costs as you would normally expect to see.
Right. But what about like other sources of funding? Like, were there like Department of Transportation? I think I read somewhere that you guys had some kind of deal with that. Talk about that a little bit.
Yeah, that was pretty unique. I got to give a lot of credit to the Hawaii Department of Transportation director. He came out with this
because they don't usually fund broadband.
No,
I would imagine, right?
Yeah, absolutely, they don't. So he had some COVID money, and he needs to improve transportation. Well, there's a supply and demand. You increase the supply of roads, or you reduce traffic by reducing demand, which means less cars on the road. Well, so his great idea was, you know what, let's get more people working from home. So we partnered with them, and they subsidized build in these remote locations for $25 million. And on top of that, they paid for broadband service in these communities, these more rural communities, for 18 months straight.
Oh, wow. So basically the thought was like, okay, we won't have to invest as much in our roads if not as many people are on the road driving to work. So let's try to keep them at home. Here's some money to do that for broadband. That was the thinking?
That was the thinking. And
that's pretty cool.
It is cool. And they didn't focus on the areas where there's people who can absolutely afford it. They focused on rural areas that are further away, which also increases the amount of traffic. And those people, they're saving money two ways, right? They're not spending money on gas and transportation, and they're also getting the benefit of broadband.
Wow. Yeah, that's pretty cool. So tell me some stories. I know you're a great storyteller. So tell me some stories about how people are using the broadband in rural areas, like healthcare. How has it changed the life for people who need to access healthcare? I imagine it's difficult in some of the rural places. Maybe there aren't hospitals on every island in Hawaii. I don't know. You can tell me. But yeah. So how are things different now?
Okay, so here's a really good example. So on the island of Molokai, those are one of the first islands we finished. There is just one clinic, and the health of that community is not in the best of shape.
Okay.
And so a lot of residents there, they actually have to fly to Oahu, another island, to get their health care done. And it's a full day trip on a 9-passenger Cessna Caravan.
Oh, wow.
Along with a $250 round-trip airfare ticket.
Oh, wow.
To go 30 miles.
Oh, my gosh.
It's pretty insane. And those flights are not reliable. No blame on the airline, so to speak.
Right.
So essentially, you have to take a day off from work. You have to spend $400 by the time you're done with it, just for a 30-minute or a 1-hour doctor visit, because there aren't a lot of physicians on that island. So now that we have broadband there, they can do their telehealth appointments. They don't need instead of spending money on airfare, they can spend it on groceries or things to improve their health and lifestyle. And then they can have their remote appointments as much as they want. And that symmetrical speed is important because you need that high definition camera going. So in case, hey, I have a blister on my arm and the doctor wants to see it, you can just go closer to your camera and not worry about pixelation.
Yeah. Oh, wow. Yeah, it'll be interesting, I guess, to see like if health outcomes like improve for those residents, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's something pretty easy to watch for because that's an at-risk community. So we can see what happens over the course of the next 4 or 5 years and kind of a difference it makes.
Yeah. So broadband's also changed how people access education too, right? I mean, we certainly learned that during the pandemic, right? I mean, we were all having internet schools in our remote school at home.
Oh yeah, I learned that firsthand for sure.
Right. So, but how is it changing things in the rural areas of Hawaii now? Maybe it's not like primary school, but like maybe has it changed people's access to like college?
Yeah, it certainly has. So there's only 2 4-year public universities. One is on the island of Oahu in Honolulu, and the other is on Hilo, on another island, on the Big Island. So you have people who live on different islands like Kauai or even Lanai. Once they're done with high school, and if you're not going to community college, you literally have to move out of state or to a different island. And that's expensive. I mean, you want to rent a 1-bedroom apartment in Honolulu, it's $2,000 a month.
Yeah.
On top of your education.
Yeah.
And then you got groceries and transportation. So if I want to stay on the island of Lanai because I grew up there and I love living there, or I have to take care of mom or tutu, that's the Hawaiian name for grandma, I can live there and get my education done remotely now that I have a reliable broadband connection. Because today, you got to be on camera, right? You got to see what the professor's doing. You're uploading videos or collaborating with other students. Not only do you have to be on, but that bandwidth has to be, it can't be 25 megabits. We all know that.
Right. Yeah. And I would imagine there's a bit of a brain drain in a lot of these areas, right? That people have to leave to be able to, like you said, get their education and so forth. Yeah.
There is. They leave and then they find out, well, okay, I can get paid more if I live on another island or out of state. And then they get comfortable. They meet a significant other and then they don't come back.
Right.
Although they do want to come back. But, once you leave, it's very hard to shift.
Are you seeing locals developing businesses around, that they are working remotely more often?
I definitely see that. Here's a really good indicator. So the heaviest traffic days on Oahu. So Honolulu has the second worst traffic in the nation. And I get to experience that firsthand.
Okay.
So what I find out is Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursdays are the heaviest traffic days, and Monday and Fridays are not. And it's not because people are working 410s or anything like that. The employers are giving them the ability to work remotely from home. And I see a lot more of my friends who actually get to work from home and work for companies who are based in the mainland United States. And I think that's great. You're not traveling as much and you can diversify the economy a little bit than just relying on tourism.
Yeah, I mean, if you're living in the most beautiful place in the world, I would definitely want that home office, I think, right?
Yeah, you can come out and spend 3 weeks out here.
I think I could do that.
We should do our podcast from Hawaii instead of in Orlando.
Yeah, I think that's a great idea. So affordability is a big issue. How are you guys addressing that for some of the lower income folks and indigenous communities that you serve?
Okay, well, ironically, even though Hawaii is literally the most expensive state in the nation to live in, it's the second most affordable broadband
really
place to get service. Yeah, our typical rate card right now for 600 megabit symmetrical service is $40 a month.
Wow.
And our competitor is not much different. That's insanely cheap.
Yeah.
So the affordability issue definitely isn't around broadband. It's around everything else.
Okay. Well, how are you guys able to offer it for a cheaper price than some of the folks on the mainland?
Oh gosh, well, part of it really is just getting that fiber network out there and being efficient in the way we design and operate. And the second part is getting everyone off of our legacy copper infrastructure.
Oh, really?
Okay. And that's how we make it affordable. But for the lower income and at risk, we have this thing called the Internet Kokua program. Kokua means like you're helping out your community. I think that's under $30 a month for 100 megabit symmetrical. We also built out fiber to all the public housing in the state of Hawaii, and we charge $0 to the state to build it out.
Okay.
Because it's important that everybody in Hawaii gets connected.
Yeah. So looking to the future, like now that you have all this fiber built out, like what are some of the opportunities that you see for Hawaii? And, is AI and data centers coming to Hawaii? What are some other opportunities that you see?
Well, the cost for electricity in Hawaii used to be at 45 cents a kilowatt hour, and Hawaii is heavily oil dependent for their infrastructure, for their grid infrastructure. It's about to get to 60 cents a kilowatt hour. So if there's going to be any AI data centers, it's going to be purposefully built to probably use a lot of solar. But at the same time, there's a lot of connectivity needed between the mainland United States, Australia, Asia. And so very similar to Guam, we're a huge connecting point rather than just everything going back to the United States. We also have a lot of military presence in the state of Hawaii.
But do you think that the fiber build out is going to bring any businesses, additional businesses to Hawaii, or what do you think?
I think it definitely will. Once we get out there, St. Hawaii is the first fully fiber-enabled state. There'll be a lot more awareness as far as, it's not a brain drain location. They're technically savvy. We can set up shop over here. Okay.
So you've been at your job for a really long time, been at the company. And so I want you to think back. What's the thing you're most proud of in terms of your job and what you've been able to do in serving your community?
Okay. So I'll go back a little bit before I started working. I was in college, and I was born and raised in Hawaii, and when I went away for school, partly to appreciate where I came from, but the other part is really I wanted to get an education and come back and do something that would transform the community statewide. And this is my passion. It's super awesome to see how we've transformed the state and kept them relevant globally. But the most important thing I think is how Hawaiian Telcom is not only making the community relevant, but also our employees. I want to be able to retire and say, hey, you know what? We've set the company up in a way where the next generation of employees can retire as well. And there's a lot of sense of pride from our employees out there who are building or installing fiber to know that they've connected these communities. It's pretty crazy. We go into some neighborhoods and people are literally moving their cars out from under the utility lines so our trucks can go out there and place fiber because they know how impactful it is. That says a lot to the people who work every day that, wow, you just made my job easier.
Right.
You don't see that all the time.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, it's been so great talking to you. Thank you so much. And I guess hopefully we'll be back here again. Maybe we'll be in Hawaii.
Yeah, maybe we'll be in Hawaii. So I did bring something for you.
Oh my gosh. I love it. Oh, this is fantastic. Look at this. Oh, I think I'm going to save this for myself and not share it with anybody in my
don't
family.
share. Don't give any to Gary or anybody like that. If they want some, they just have to come out to Hawaii.
Yeah.
And we got to celebrate Hawaii being the first fully fiber-enabled state so people can see what it looks like.
Yeah, I agree. And I hope they invite me to come interview you again.
Yeah, that sounds like a good idea.
Okay, let's do that. Okay. Well, this has been FCTV Podcast.